Tonight, we are diving into a Firstleaf pick. More specifically, this is a 2018 Devil's Advocate Red Blend from California. Getting even more specific, from the North Coast. What does that mean? Let's talk about it. So what do we need to know about the North Coast? A couple of things. Think of Sonoma and Napa Valley. When we hear those two names, we think Cabernet Sauvignon. And when we're talking about, in this case, the Firstleaf pick, the Devil's Advocate Red Blend, we are talking Merlot, which, to be fair, it's not a 100% Merlot. It's a 50% Merlot, 25% Syrah. The rest is something else, kind of. Let me read us the flyer for this selection. Devil's Advocate Red Blend from California. Our 2018 Merlot-driven red is devilish, delicious, and bold. Big statement right there. This red blend is a perfect example of the fun wines coming from California. Our 2018 vintage Devil's Advocate was sourced primarily from the North Coast appellation, which is known for big, lush red wines. True, Cabernet Sauvignon. That's what we're talking about. We're going into this already thinking this is the underdog, being a Merlot from the North Coast. Most vineyard sites in this region experience temperature shifts that result in dry, hot days moderated by significantly cooler nights. Made up of 50% Merlot, go figure, 25% Syrah, and a combination of Petite, Syrah, and Zinfandel to round out the end. What does that mean, round out the end? We'll find out. This wine is fruit-forward and savory. TBD. Flavors of candied maraschino cherries and black cherry, red plum, and blackberry complement big tannins that grip the palate with an enjoyable texture. An easy drinking crowd pleaser, this wine is an amazing combination of any alfresco summer dinner. And of course, when you think Merlot, it's giving you a roast pork pairing suggestion, grilled ribeye, dark chocolate. I mean, any red goes great with dark chocolate, so I'm not going to say this is specifically meant for a Merlot, but yeah, it makes sense. I had a New York strip steak tonight. I poured myself a glass of this, and I was pleasantly surprised. So we're going to talk a little bit about what we're receiving from this wine, right? What are we getting from this wine? What does it look like? What does it taste like? What do we feel? And is this a good pick outside of any sort of Firstleaf supply drop you're receiving? If you found this in a store, would you get it? We'll see. So, lighting's not great in here. Out in the living room, I was able to turn up the lights, get a nice piece of paper underneath to really look at the color. And referring back to my notes here, purple ruby in color, soft ruby. Syrah, you're typically going to have that medium purple color here, which is unsurprising. The nose, I'm getting, like right off the bat, I'm getting just alcohol smell. Like nail polish remover smell with like maybe some cherry. It's like, yeah, it's what you would assume from a bundled package like Firstleaf, right? Okay, all right. It's it's a well-rounded, balanced sip here. The The first whiff of it, not great. Not impressing me. But it's very well-rounded. I'm getting cherry, dark chocolate, like the bit of the plum you get from Merlot, very heavy on the cherry, and it's quite tannic, especially on the finish, right? This like pucker factor right at the end where you get this really fresh, bright blast of berry flavor at first, and then it slides down your tongue, and then all of a sudden, like, whoa, what's going on here? It just kind of explodes with the tannic properties. It's quite easy to drink. I keep saying it seems very balanced and well-rounded. There's, I don't want to say it's smoky, but there is some sort of hint of smoke. I don't know if that's a smoky like oak barrel it perhaps sat in for some time, but with that, it's kind of confusing me whether it's like a bit smoky or chocolatey. And I think this is more so like a dark chocolate, sort of like bitter aftertaste. Important to note, this is also mixed with some Zinfandel. So if you're tasting something a little spicy, that could be from the Zinfandel. Also, Merlot has some properties of like a baking spice. It's a good, decent bodied red. And with that, with a higher alcohol content, a lot of times you're going to get that sort of baking spice, especially looking at this viscosity. The legs on it are decent. They're not super thick. It is, I want to say, 14.5% alcohol. So the viscosity is decent for this. Smooth, dry finish. It's good. It's not, it's a good wine. It's, it won a couple awards or whatever, so that's why it's in Firstleaf's catalog. When I think about Firstleaf and the other sort of subscription wine companies, I think, hey, some dealer, some broker, some salesperson is trying to offload a bunch of cases of wine that has been underperforming on shelves for the past 12 to 18 months. So they're going to bring it up to Firstleaf and say, hey, we got a 96 rating on so-and-so scale of whatever sort of board of reviews, awards, whatever it is. So I'm a little bit hesitant at that, but for the average drinker, I'm going to say this is a solid 3.5 out of 5 for me. And I think for most people, that's really going to do it. If you brought this to a dinner party, people will like it. They're not going to come up and shake your hand after and say, thank you so much for bringing this bottle of red blend from the North Coast with the vintage of 2018. No, that's not going to happen. It's a good experience to have. There's nothing bad about this. The only thing that irked me a little bit was just the initial smell and nose of it. It was quite aggressive at first, but once you have your first glass, your first couple of sips, it makes more sense. It becomes more rounded. It's quite savory, and it just has that solid finish, and I think this is a well-rounded wine. They've done it again. Another 3.5 out of 5 on my spectrum, and anything above a 3 is drinkable. So I hope you enjoy this. Leave a comment, subscribe if you came here from YouTubing Firstleaf reviews. I plan on making one of these every single week, so subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.